The Penguins begin the Stanley Cup playoffs on Wednesday at home against the New York Rangers. We welcome back to the program the best hockey player in the world. From the Penguins, he is Captain Sidney Crosby. Sid, the obvious question is, do you still have your goalie equipment laying around? Because I guess you could go in net for game one, couldn't you?
Yeah, no, it's a weird situation there. Don't usually see, two guys go down like that, but, we have some guys that have shown they're capable, and obviously with Tish, he's shown that he can play and fill in when he needs to. So, I think we're just going to have to wait and see, but, he can get the job done. We're confident in him.
Well, how did Fleury look at practice today, and how does the goaltending situation affect the room? I would imagine not too much the way you guys are playing. Yeah,
I think that, just looking at Flower today, he looked pretty calm in there, and he looked comfortable. So, obviously, I think you wait and see how he's feeling, and you just have to wait and see with stuff like that. You don't really know what's going to happen, but he looked good in there today, and I guess the fact is we've been carrying 3 goalies, so that's not typical, but in this case, it might be kind of a beneficial thing that the way it's worked out for us. So,
by the way, Tish is Zadkov, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure there wasn't like a fifth goalie I didn't know about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he's been up all year, and he's been practicing, and I think that he's confident. But I think when you're talking about goalie situation, I think as a team, we feel confident in any guy, and the fact that we have had 3 of them around, I think that goes a long way.
What enabled you guys to finish with 14 wins out of 16? What was the primary catalyst to that run?
I don't know if it was one thing specific. I think that we got big plays, we got big performances from different guys every night. I think it was just really playing as a team, understanding that we needed to be desperate. We had a lot of ground to make up. We were playing a ton of divisional games. We knew how important those were. So I think just really coming together as a group and different guys stepping up every night, whether it be, the power play, the penalty kill, guys who've been called up, a lot of younger guys doing a great job. They chipped in a lot. They deserve a lot of credit for the way they played, especially given the responsibilities and roles, they were given a lot, early on, and they handled it really well.
I can tell you like having the kids on the team. They seem to provide a lot of energy and enthusiasm on the ice and in the room, Sid. And do the kids make you feel more like a veteran? Has that changed you at all, having so many young guys around?
Yeah, I think it brings a ton of energy. That's the biggest thing. You see guys, who are coming in playing their first games, and there's just a desperation level. They understand that they really have to prove they're capable of staying and prove they can play at the NHL level, and that hunger. And I think that healthy competition goes a long way. And a lot of them probably didn't expect to be given the responsibilities that they were, but the way they handled it allowed them to keep getting those opportunities. And I think, as guys, as kind of older guys, look around you, you're happy to see them do well, but I think it also pushes you too to want to make sure you're doing your part.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get benched for Kuhnhackl, but I definitely get your drift. And another amazing thing, you guys had this streak without Gino. That might be the most amazing part, but Bonino really picked up the slack there, didn't he? He's been an amazing fit for that line.
Yeah, that line's been incredible, and we knew we weren't going to be able to replace Gino, and you could tell, especially on the power play the last month or so, it was a bit of a struggle sometimes. We just kind of were struggling to kind of find rhythm and produce there, and Gino can just change the game with one play and one shift, and he's got that ability. But I think that the big thing that line that you're talking about did is just they played to their strengths. Phil was shooting everything. He's flying up and down the wing, and Bones is really smart. He's really good up the middle and finding those guys with speed on the wing. So I think they've really developed some chemistry there.
Have you ever been on a faster team, Sid? Because I got to tell you, there are times on the forecheck where the other team looks legitimately terrified, like they just don't know what to do because you guys are so fast?
Yeah, I mean, that's our strength. I mean, we know that. We understand that. You know, once we get to the playoffs here, we know that teams are going to try to slow us down, and we've got to find a way to maintain that. So that's our biggest strength. And I don't know if I have played on a quicker team. And there's a difference between, you know, skating fast and playing fast, and we've found a pretty good balance of that. And I think that, you know, we understand how important that is to us having success. And when you've got guys like Hags and Phil who can, you know, fly up and down the wing, that's tough for guys to defend.
I was going to ask why you, Hornquist, and Kunitz play so well together, but just watching you guys play the end of the regular season, you're not only in the other team's end all the time, you're below the hash marks all the time. I think you just wear the other guys out.
Yeah, I think that, you know, with our line, I think we try to force turnovers. So some nights, you know, teams aren't going to make as many mistakes, but hopefully we can force them into making a few with, you know, how we forecheck. And, you know, Cooney and Horny are so good at creating loose pucks and strong on battles and, you know, creating a lot of plays from those areas you're talking about. So, you know, that's just forcing teams to have to come, you know, 200 feet if they want to go back the other way. And eventually over time, hopefully we can generate some chances and, like you said, wear them down a bit. So the way that those guys compete, and I think the way we want to compete as a line is exactly that. Just make it tough and, you know, try to create as many turnovers as we can and hopefully generate some chances that way.
Well, when you guys work down low, the other team's wings have to pull back further than I think they'd like. And Letang's out there with you guys a lot. And, boy, when you move the puck back to the point to him, he could do an awful lot of stuff. Talk about Mike Sullivan, because he seems to have done a lot to keep Tanger behind your line quite a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of worked out that way. And, you know, with the way Tanger's playing, you know, he's a lot of fun to play with when he's able to just carry the puck like that. I mean, you don't really have to do much. You just watch, and he can really control the play. So, you know, he's been playing a ton of minutes. Like you said, a lot has been with our line. So when he gets it, it's just a matter of even, you know, sometimes you have to cover for him because he's joining the rush and just being aware of that. But, you know, for the most part, you're just trying to get open and battle to get to the front of the net because the way he's, you know, carrying the puck across the line and getting shots through and creating offense, you know, he's helping generate a lot for us offensively too.
We're talking to Penguins captain Sidney Crosby here on the home of the Penguins, 105.9. Sid, when you had a bit of a dry spell point-wise to start the season, did you ever doubt yourself? Was there a low point or any despair on your part?
Yeah, I think there was, you know, probably some disappointment just in the fact that, you know, there weren't a ton of chances. You know, I've said that before. The big thing when you're not scoring is just, you know, trusting eventually is going to go in is real easy to do when you're getting the chances. And probably up till this point this year, even when there was times when I wasn't scoring, I felt like, you know, confidence was still high because I was getting a lot of chances and I knew it was just a matter of time. And it was kind of easy to think that way. But when you're not getting the chances and you don't feel like you're really having much effect on the game or not really going out there and creating things consistently, it's tough mentally. You know, you want to be able to contribute, and if you're not putting points on the board, you want to at least be creating momentum and chances at least, and that wasn't the case. So yeah, it was difficult. But you know,
what broke you out of that? Was there any one factor or moment where you said, "Okay, I'm right again. I'm going to get going"?
Yeah, I think just when I tried to simplify things, probably a couple weeks before the coaching change, I felt like my game was getting a little bit better, and I felt like I just needed to simplify things a little bit. And you know, when you're not doing a lot right, you try to do everything all at once instead of just kind of, you know, taking it one step at a time and just maybe shooting a little bit more, you know, worrying about just playing, I guess, open and just not thinking about too much. So when you're struggling, you're trying to fix a bunch of things instead of just keeping it simple. So I think I just tried to simplify everything, and obviously as a team we started to play better, and that always helps out individually too.
When Mike Sullivan took over, did he change your job at all, tweak what he wanted you to do, or, I don't know, maybe let you be more aggressively, offensively? How did your role, your job description change when Sully took over?
It really didn't. To be honest, I mean, the way he play or what he expected, wasn't anything new or different. I think, he just kind of told me, listen, your work ethic kind of dictates your game, and that was his opinion from, having, coached against us in the past, and that's what he felt, and I agreed. I felt like, that's kind of the first thing, when I need to play well or, we need to get going. I think the work ethic always kind of dictates that, and kind of the skill stuff and all the other things kind of come along with it. So I think, just kind of keeping it simple and letting everything else kind of happen was probably the best advice to get.
Okay, it's the Rangers again, starting Wednesday. Third year in a row in the playoffs. How much would it help to have beaten them these last 3 times you played and having beat Henrik Lundqvist?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to build confidence. I mean, I think we all know you start fresh in the playoffs regardless of the record in the regular season, but you look at all those games, they're all so close. I mean, looking back to the playoffs last year, they're 2-1 games. I mean, we had an overtime game there, the last one we played in New York. It's going to be a close series just like it has been in the past. And, the fact that, we're able to kind of find a way to get those wins, though, is important. I think, you gain that, that confidence a bit from that, but also understanding that the playoffs is a whole new game and, it's a whole other level in the playoffs, so we got to understand that and be ready to go.
Well, I think, though, those 3 wins, and obviously momentum doesn't necessarily carry over from the regular season, but those 3 wins over the Rangers, having won 14-16, it seems like this team has a general good vibe, some confidence about it, Sid. Compare that to last year when you guys kind of backed into the playoffs.
Yeah, when you're looking at last year, we just struggled a little bit more with consistency down the stretch, and we were scraping and grinding to get that last point or two to get our spot in the playoffs, and it felt like it took forever to be able to do that, and we didn't really put full games together, and I think we did a lot better job of that this year down the stretch, and finding ways to get those wins in close games, and instead of finding ways to kind of maybe lose that one down the stretch, we were finding ways to win them this year. So I think that definitely brings confidence, just having gone through that, having seen that we're capable of overcoming those games where maybe you start bad, you're down a couple goals, and you find a way to get back into it. Going through that is important. It doesn't mean it's automatic, but it's good for everybody to see that and feel that. And I think that should help us, knowing that we've played in different types of games, high scoring, low scoring. We've relied on our power play, relied on our penalty kill at different points to win us games. So all those experiences hopefully will help us here with what we see in the playoffs, because you never know what to expect.
Okay, here's the highlight of the season for me. You posted a career high in empty net goals, 4. And I am so proud. I like to think my constant ridicule of you was a motivating factor. How'd you finally figure that out, Sid?
I got to give Hags credit for that, because I think it was one of his first games, and he had a chance to easily put it in the empty net. I was trying to get him his first goal with us, and he did like a spinorama, pulled up, delayed, and waited for me and gave me a tap-in on the empty net. So that may be what it took to get my confidence up on the empty net goals. But for some reason, they started going a little bit more after he did that. So you can take some of the credit, but I got to give him some credit on that one, because I was probably good for maybe 1 or 2 a year, if that.
Hey, what's tougher to stick handle around during warm-up, the McDonald's logo or the Jimmy John's logo in Detroit?
Do you watch warm-up too?
Oh, Sid, come on. I'm a student of the game.
Oh, I could see. You've got my whole routine down by the sounds of it.
Yeah, you're not the only one who's OCD.
Is that what they call it now?
That they used to call it in grade school. Well, I'm a lot older than you. I was just a problem child. But come on, McDonald's logo, Jimmy John's logo, which is tougher?
I think the McDonald's logo is probably the easier one than the Jimmy John's. Yeah, a lot more letters.
You look like you're kind of sweating the Jimmy John's logo. I'm not surprised by your response.
That's a big logo. So yeah, the McDonald's one's a lot easier.
Okay, one more thing. Are you the MVP? Does that matter to you? I can't imagine you don't think about it, but knowing you, I also can't imagine you do.
No, I don't. To be honest, it's not something I think about. I mean, unless it's brought up like now. But No, it's just about winning. That's what it comes down to. And I'll tell you, when things were bad there at the start of the year, it's just all about winning and contributing, and making sure you're doing your part, doing your job. And I think that as a player, you just want to be able to do your best to help your team win, and feel like you're able to do that. And for me, that probably wasn't the case for the first half, and felt a lot better about my game in the second half, and as a group to see everyone kind of come together here and fight through a lot of different stuff. That's the best part about playing hockey and being on a team, and that's what it's about, really. So if that happens to earn you the right to win it, great, but that's not why you play.
Look, that's a good answer, but you're the MVP. Don't say any more about that. Hey, as always, Sid, this was great. And keep that goalie equipment handy. You still do have it, right?
I still have it, yeah.
Where the hell do you store it? Like in an airplane hangar? That stuff's so big it blocks out the friggin' sun.
I know. I might have to get. I know it's going smaller next year, so I got to keep that big stuff.
Yeah, maybe you could autograph and put it on like eBay or something. I mean, that stuff's so big. Remember Garth Snow?
Yeah.
His equipment could hide behind your equipment.
I need it.
Sid, seriously, thanks again, and we'll see you Wednesday night. Good luck.
Okay, thanks a lot.
That's the great Sidney Crosby. We like to have fun with Sid. Go on YouTube and look up Sidney Crosby Street Hockey and check out the friggin' equipment. We've talked about this. When he cuts down the angle, comes out of a net, you can't see the net. It's the biggest equipment ever. Anyway, thanks to Sid, and thanks as always to our patron saint, the lovely Jen Villano, the Penguins PR lady, for setting it up. I love having Sid on, and he is the MVP. If you're going to go by most valuable, that said, though, if Patrick Kane got it, I wouldn't be outraged because, Kaner's a great player, and I think he plays the game the way you're supposed to. But, boy, you look at Sid over the last 50 games and what the Penguins did based on how he played, it's hard to say he's not the MVP.